Because if you're going to do it, you might as well go all the way in.
But you don't want to go all in.
No, I don't. No, I think they need to build through the draft. I just don't think they're ready to win right now. So I think trading a bunch of draft capital instead of getting good young players is a mistake. I'd rather have that second round pick back than what you got from Stephon Diggs last year.
Joe, you asked this question. Are the Texans good enough for another all-in move? What do you think about that?
Because this is from Garrett Wilson, that people like the ESPN article that's suggesting that the Texans trade for Garrett Wilson. We're assuming that's going to take at least 2 first-round picks at a minimum.
2 first-round picks for Garrett Wilson?
I would think so. I mean,
I'm out immediately.
Or first and a second at this point. I mean, you're giving up major draft capital.
Still out immediately.
Yeah. Like the idea of I know they don't need a pass rusher, but guys like Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, these big-name players are going to be available this offseason. And I was just thinking, does it make sense to trade for anyone of that caliber with where the roster stands currently? Because you need, we think 3 offensive linemen, probably. At least 2 offensive linemen. You need 2 wide receivers. You have questions at safety because of health and age. You've got questions at the interior defensive line because of guys that are free agent. There's just so many. There's a lot of holes on this roster, and the Texans went all in last year. And what did it get them? It got to the same exact place they were the year before. They won the division and they won 1 playoff game.
A slightly more respectable exit.
Yeah, and that's all got you. So does it make sense to trade a bunch of draft capital right now when you need young players, when you've also gone all in already with your cap space? And yes, they can maneuver stuff and they can open up room, but they've put themselves in a position with way less flexibility than if they were more patient. So my answer is no. I don't think they're in position to go all in this offseason on a star player, because I don't think it just fixes enough of their problems. Even if you're trading for a great right guard, maybe you're not giving up a first, but you still have so many other spots to fill. I just don't think giving up a ton of draft capital, to me, makes the most sense right now.
That's the only thing I would do it for, is an offensive lineman. That's it.
I think it had to be a tackle, right?
Could be a tackle. If you're giving up that much, it better be a tackle. But if you're making a trade, it's to address the part of your team that needs the most help, that is very unlikely to get that help year 1 in the draft. And offensive linemen are generally just behind schedule. No matter what, they're probably going to struggle their rookie year. The offseason has made it very difficult for an offensive lineman to come in and succeed right away. And college schemes have also gone in a direction away from making lives difficult for offensive linemen, actually putting them through situations that they're going to be tasked with in the NFL. That doesn't really happen in college anymore, with everything being as spread out as it is. So these guys are coming in, and I mean, if they end up being good, great. It's very unlikely, though, that you're going to get the immediate returns from an offensive lineman, where if you trade for somebody who's established, you theoretically can get that. The problem is the only players who are probably going to be traded by their respective teams on the offensive line are guys that team is not 100% sold on, whether it's giving them another contract or the idea that they are worthy of a big-time contract at the end of their rookie deal.
Yeah, it's almost like you'd be acquiring another team's version of Titus Howard to add to this team, where, yeah, the Texans could look into trading him because no one's sold if he's a left guard, if he's a right tackle, if he's a future member of this team. You probably don't love his salary with where it's at right now with the production that you've got in return. So, are you going to go all in for a guy like that? No, because very rarely are guys like Laramie Tunsil available on the trade market. Like when teams don't typically do that.
I mean, that's how Bill O'Brien got him, was by trading 2 first-round picks. It was so unprecedented to trade 2 first-round picks for a tackle that at the time was maybe top 5.
Yeah.
I mean, he was definitely one of the best tackles in the league, but I think it was debatable that he was that high up. 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, and that's why if it's 1 first-round pick, because I wouldn't describe that as like an all-in move, trading a first for a really good offensive lineman or wide receiver, if that's the path that you really want to go down. If you're going to move on from the 25th pick in the draft, like that's fine for me. But to invest a ton of draft capital, so more than a first, whether it's a first and a second or two firsts into your roster, which is where they stand right now, I just think they need to slow down a little bit from where they were last offseason. Where last year they really thought they were in a position to win, and then they just didn't do it. So I think you just got to develop a little bit instead of just push it all in again. Or you do what the Rams did and just say F them picks. Just trade all of it. Because if you're going to do it, you might as well go all the way in.
But you don't want to go all in.
No, I don't. No, I think they need to build through the draft. I just don't think they're ready to win right now. So I think trading a bunch of draft capital instead of getting good young players is a mistake. I'd rather have that second round pick back than what you got from Stephon Diggs last year.
Yeah, this team is not like one move away, or even like one offseason of moves away, I think, to being a Super Bowl good, to looking at the Eagles and being like, we can beat the Eagles. I think they're just a little bit farther than that, just with the tools that they have at their disposal to fix these things. If it was just the wide receiver room looking how it looks and you felt awesome about your offensive line, that'd be one thing. If it was just the offensive line looking how it looks and you feel awesome about your receiver room, that would be one thing. The fact you have both these huge issues to address, that's before getting into like so Dalton Schultz, we're just run that back at tight end, hoping that Cade Stover maybe supplants him. It's a lot of hoping that you develop these guys, hoping that Hutchinson or Mechie step up like we've been talking about for 2 years. Like, you're hoping for these things, and with the holes you have in offensive line, you're going to have to draft a guy, and like Paul said, you're going to have to hope he's good, or you're going to have to accept that it might be more than a one-year project to get him to being a good offensive guard or center or wherever you're going to put him. So I just think that you can't think of 1 year move. You have to think of, I mean, your quarterbacks just finished year 2. Like, you have a longer runway to this thing.
With the offensive line and the receivers and even the tight end room as it is, yeah, you're probably right in that. You might even be taking a little bit of a step back this coming season to give yourself the leeway to have the most flexibility over the course of the next few years. I know that Derek Stingley's likely extension that would come this offseason could help and give you a little extra space to do something crazy, but the offensive line is going to take enough of a reset, I think, where, yeah, the all-in move is not going to be the difference. And maybe one of the benefits of this past offseason is that you did all of these moves, and while you were better, you weren't better to the degree that you were going on a serious playoff run. Now, maybe a deeper playoff run is as simple as just a little bit of luck where, I don't know, oh no, Patrick Mahomes is out for the year or something like that. Like, I do think that could theoretically be just as much of an obstacle that's been in your way over the last couple of years. And I think now you do wonder, okay, how did the Chiefs handle this hangover after getting their absolute skulls beaten in after going for a three-peat? Like, they got to be worn out. Or
Yeah.
It's natural, human nature to take that final step back that we've been waiting for them to take for a while.
Yeah, it could be Chiefs kind of fall back to you a little bit. Could be Ravens or Bills fall back to you a little bit, and all of a sudden now you're feeling better. And there's also the upgrade or what the Texans hope and what they're going to tell you is an upgrade at offensive coordinator. Maybe that's the aha, now things are just going to click better. Like, this group will just click better now that they're in the Nick Haley offense as opposed to the Bobby Slowick offense.
You hope that, but that does go back to, you are hoping that Bobby Slowick was Chris Broussarded. You are hoping that Bobby Slowick is the biggest idiot that's ever set foot into a locker room, and that Chris Strausser, offensive line coach, is the biggest idiot that's been an offensive line coach ever. That is asking a lot, because there have been a lot of dumb coaches over the course of the NFL's history.
Yeah, you're trying to go from Silas to Udoka. Like, that's basically you're looking for the offensive coordinator equivalent of going from this guy's one of the worst in the league to going to one of the best in the league.
Yeah, and if CJ Stroud is going to be the quarterback that going into last year that we thought he was, that's why I don't think you need to trade for Garrett Wilson. Like, he should be able to bring in a rookie wide receiver and have the player have an impact. Like, we see rookie wide receivers be excelling all over the place. Like, if you draft Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State and reunite them together, like, then that should be enough for CJ Stroud. If he's the quarterback that he wants to be that we thought maybe he was going to be, then like he should be able to elevate the talent. The priority is to be fixing the offensive line because he can't fix all that. But he should be a good enough quarterback where like he can elevate the wide receiver room enough.
Yeah, it doesn't even need to be the guy from Ohio State. It should be anyone. It should literally be anyone. It should
What
be a
about Gronk?
third-round receiver.
Herbert.
What about Gronk?
Yes, that's what I was about to get to. Because Denver Sports 104.3 had this today from someone named Cecil Lammy, who is a digital talent for denversports.com covering the Broncos. Per sources, Rob Gronkowski wants to return to the NFL, and the Broncos are expected to be in the mix. Nick Caserio, it is time to put on your throwback Pat Patriot 87 Rob Gronkowski jersey and start schmoozing, talking about that Patriots success and how the Patriots, with Nick Haley, former Patriots tight end coach,
There we go.
are
the connection.
back.
That's the connection.
They're just in Houston now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
We see it in the transfer portal all the time.
Will it work? Don't know. Do I care? No. Rob Gronkowski, Houston Texan? Yes. Sound bites galore.
Nick Caserio also can show Rob Gronkowski that Tom Brady had lunch with C.J. Stroud that one time,
Boom.
and Tom Brady seemed to take a keen liking to Mr. Stroud.
I would love.
Does he see his possible successor like Jesus saw Peter? I don't know. Just asking the question.
He's just like, Gronk, help him get there. Lead the way.
You have to lead the way when I'm gone. For those who need to see football greatness.
The idea of Rob Gronkowski coming out of retirement right now is so funny. Hasn't it been 2 years since he played last?
I think he sees that Travis Kelce doesn't have that dog in him anymore, and now he just has to play the amount of years that Travis Kelce's played since Gronk's played. And I think that'd probably be like 3 seasons or so.
I think he's been out 2? Because didn't he retire the year before Brady retired?
No, I thought he retired with Brady.
Gronk retired in 2022.
Okay.
So a year before Brady.
A year? Okay.
Okay. And he also retired 1 year in between. No, he was on the first Bucks team, right?
Yes.
No, but he retired. He missed 19.
Yeah, he missed the year with the Patriots.
Gronk played 2010 to 2018, 2020 to 2021.
Okay, so
he's been out for 4 years then.
Yeah,
and then that 1 year in
he
between.
took a 1 year off.
He's got to rest his body a little bit. He's good to go.
He was beat up by the end.
Yeah. Bring him back. If Gronk wants to play football, Gronk can play football.
I will say
It's the year of the comebacks for the old guys. Gronk, JJ, they're all coming back.
they are all coming
Is
back.
Tom coming back next?